Mark Yates then, pre-Rochdale at home. Mark, last week's victory, how much does that help as you're now sort of looking obviously to go into a pair of home games and just, I suppose, players getting the rewards they deserve last week?
We deserve last week's win. We asked them to work harder than the opposition, harder than, not that they hadn't been working hard, but just misguided. We stayed in the game. We were strong mentally and physically, and we did a good job on a team who were supposed to be flying high. So it was a good win. It means we can go into this week with a bit of confidence. Training's been good. We've got to ask exactly the same again. You know, we're not Real Madrid at the moment. You know, we're not free-flowing, fantastic football, but the commitment's there, the attitude's there, the willingness to work hard was there last weekend, and we've got to make sure that happens again.
And you can obviously feel you can replicate that at home as a style of play.
Yeah, listen, we want to get on the ball. I thought we mixed it up really well. We were competitive, organised, but you know we passed as well. Whatever team that they come down with on Saturday and play, we've got to make sure that that's at least where we start. You know, being exactly those three things. And if we do that, you know, keep adding to our game, keep improving, then we'll be okay.
In the 3 games that Jamie Curitan's scored goals, you've picked up 7 points. I suppose that underlines his importance to the club, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, when we knew we got a good one when we signed him. We without a doubt, he's been a loss for the team. But you know, you have to cope with it, and we haven't coped with it brilliantly. But you know, Jamie Curitan playing doesn't mean shouldn't have meant that we've been conceding goals like we have been. So, you know, even if he plays, I don't think that necessarily stops it. But he's a big part of what we're trying to do, what we've been trying to do since the summer. You know, it's up to us now to make sure that we utilise him as best we can.
And that quality can make such a difference in tight games, can't it?
Of course it can. The league is really tight. I thought 3 or 4 weeks ago Chesterfield were just going to be 20 points clear of everybody by now, but that's not the case. They've had 3 games without a win, 2 defeats in that. It's really tight. I think we're 11 points off top of the table, so you're out of nothing. I think games are literally about who turns up and performs on the day, and we haven't done that enough yet. But you know, hopefully the penny's starting to drop, and they can realise what it was about after last weekend, and that feeling of winning in the dressing room is what we want every weekend, and that'll be the message on Saturday.
And Rochdale obviously 5th at the moment, so right up there, and Keith Hill, it just seems to be a very good fit with him and that club, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, he did well there. Before, and he was a little bit unfortunate at Barnsley, and he's gone back in there and made a difference. So, yeah, we know he's a good manager. We know that. We've got to make sure that we're as hard working, even more so than them, and we make sure that we try and please our home fans and put in a good, winning, solid performance.
I know you've pitted your wits against him before, but is it that little bit different when you're up against someone who was a former teammate and perhaps you know each other's philosophies a little bit?
No, not really. No. You know, Keith's decent at what he does. We know that. But you know, Neil speaks to him quite a bit. They're from the same town. I think Neil's got on his nerves of late with 1 or 2 things, but in a good way. So no, we know them well. They're 2 good lads, him and Beachy. But it means nothing. You know, we'll all be desperate to beat each other come Saturday.
What's the situation with James Wilson? Is that over?
His loan's ended, and between us and Bristol City, he has gone back. And you know, we thank him for his efforts and wish him all the best. You know, he played for Wales on Tuesday night, so he's a good player, and it's just unfortunate that we haven't been able to keep hold of him.
Was that Cheltenham couldn't do the deal?
Both, but it suited both parties. That, you know, at the minute, you know, he probably wouldn't have played Saturday, and that's not good for him. You know, after playing for Wales, I can't. Where we are at the minute, I don't see any change in personnel at the back on Saturday.
And in terms of obviously the meeting with the chairman last week, is there still funds there to go and get someone if you need someone?
It's not. They'll do what they can. If that means we have to get 1 or 2 out to get something in, then that's what we have to do at the right time. But at the minute, you know, nothing's happening at the moment.
Injuries? Everyone's
okay? Training. Everyone's ready to go. Everyone wants to play. We had a game on the training ground on Tuesday against Bristol Rovers. After a disappointing start, the last hour was excellent, and you know, people needed that game. Some young boys needed the game, and it's important that we now, as a whole group, now that we build on it and get ready for two big home games against two sides who are right up there at the moment.
Thank you. Good luck.
Cheers, Paul.
Mark, do you think the football will come if you grind out a few more like you did on Saturday?
I thought we had to dig in the last 20 minutes. I thought we were excellent for 70 minutes. You know, when they threw everything at us, you know, sometimes a team who are desperate for a win sometimes doesn't always make the best decisions, but I thought we did. And like I said, they had 4 or 5 forwards on the pitch at the end, but we stood firm. We had a little bit of luck that's been deserting us, but we deserve that, and like I said, thoroughly deserved win. We've now just got to make sure that we go into the weekend and Tuesday in a positive frame of mind and look for as many points as we can.
Yeah, you said you don't see any changes at the back. Do you see any changes?
Not particularly. We'll have a look. You know, I don't know if it was a game I wanted to play that system against them in particular. So you know, whether we go back to a 4-4-2 or whatever we do, it'll be what we think's right.
Probably McGlashan's probably the one you've got to work out.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't his natural position, so we'll see.
Yeah. In terms of, you said you might have to get somebody out to get somebody in. Have you?
No, I don't. At the minute, I don't want it. No, not at the moment. So, like I say, I'm always looking at the loan situation. I've been offered loads of young players, young Premier League and Championship players. I've just got to make sure they're the right ones, and they've got to fit the club, fit what we're trying to do, fit the wage structure, the wages that we can afford to pay on loan. If we bring anything in, it'll be the right one at the right time, hopefully.
Yeah, was Keith Lowe's performance at the back one of the many pleasing things
we know
last
Keith
week?
can play there well, and he did, and you know, he's been in the team for the last 6 or 8 weeks, and Saturday for me was probably his best performance. So he was centre half. We'll go with the same back 4 again, I would have thought. As long as Craig comes through training today and see how he is, no reaction. But yeah, we were unlucky not to keep a clean sheet. Their goal came out of nothing, but I thought Keith was a big part of our win.
Yeah, and Sido Jumbati came back in at right back, and he's been up and down a bit this season, hasn't he? But do you think that was his best performance this season?
I thought it was easily his best. I thought Craig showed what we'd missed with him bombing up and down from left back, being able to deal with their wide players, and whatever Rochdale throw at us, whether it's formation wise, you know, we've got the players to be able to deal with it. We've got pace in the side, we've got people who can play, we've got people who can dig in, and you need to combine them all.
Yeah, you spoke about the importance of Curitan. Do you think he understands that, even though he probably wants to play every minute of every game, that you need to manage him?
Of course he does. Yeah, of course he does. We need him fit as many times as we can this season. If we do that, who knows what we can do. He's proved invaluable already, and I'm sure that'll happen over the coming months.
Yeah, and if Byron keeps causing problems as he has been this season with Curitan there, it looks like.
Yeah, Byron's decent. And we got Terry. Terry looked back to somewhere near his best in the second half on Tuesday. Pitched in with a goal and some decent link-up play. Got a squad that I'm happy with. You know, I think if I was, I'd like another perhaps 1 or 2 in numbers wise, but I'm happy with where we are.
Yeah, you got Hanks and Williams come back now from loan. Do you want to go
we'll see.
Test them higher?
I'd like to get them out higher if I could. There's a couple of interesting parties. We'll just have to see what comes of stuff after the weekend.
Both done very well there, haven't they?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen them a couple of times and they've done well. We need to really step them up and see if we can get, playing at least Conference North, at least Conference South. But they're young kids and it's difficult to go and get them games. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Cheers, Mark.
All right.